What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the worst 6 brawlers currently inside of Brawl Stars. So there's been a few buffs to some of the worst brawlers in the game. I haven't really looked at the worst brawlers for a while now because the bottom 6 are always basically the same. But yeah, before we get into today's video, make sure using a creator code and mine will be greatly appreciated if you're looking to buy something in the shop. And without further ado, let's jump into number 6. Alright guys, jumping into this 6th worst brawler currently in Brawl Stars, it's going to have to be Galil. So although Galil sometimes can be used in competitive the odd time on like parallel plays defensive lane, other than that, in terms of competitive, he's never used. He's a really bad brawler, especially in the 1v1 interactions. A lot of brawlers can just easily counter him, and the only good reason he's used is to knock back tanks. When it's like a Poco and a tank, he can be pretty decent. Other than that, there's just way better tank counter options. Literally, there could be 15 plus better tank counters than Galil's. So that's what Galil really is. He isn't much more than that. So he's still going to be in my bottom 6, and I still see people saying that. There was like a comment the other day which was actually hilarious to me. It was someone said that Galil, well, is just as good as Jean, and I was just like, what? That just no. Just how do people still rate Galil inside of Brawl Stars? Like, he's not. Yeah, ignore that. I didn't just totally miss the goal there, but yeah, Galil just hasn't been good for a long time now, and I don't think will ever be good unless they change something about his like that. I don't know. What would you actually change about Galil to make him meta? Probably. Give him a buff to his gadget, probably. I mean, his gadget can be useful in some circumstances, but when he was OP, his gadget used to fly you across the map, but right now it doesn't do too much. So we should be able to score this. Hopefully, I've just done 2 of them. Nice a goal from NX right there. I mean, I'm not saying that totally he's unusable, but in comparison to all the different brawlers in the meta, I just really don't find too much use to him. As I said, the only mode that he's good on is Hot Zone, and that's just because obviously the zone is basically not moving. You can just sit there with Galil and it's going to be pretty easy because the opponents are going to be coming towards you. Other than that, it's just trash. I would not use Galil at all in terms of any other ladder experience, any tournaments. No, he's just not the best at all. So should be able to score this. Hopefully I'm close to my super. If this gives me the super, and this should be a goal right there. So that's going to be the 6th worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars. Let's hop into number 5. Alright guys, jumping into the 5th worst brawler currently inside of Brawl Stars, it's going to have to be Penny. So Penny, for me, some people probably think that Penny isn't that bad, but honestly, Penny right now is in a really bad spot. She's just used nowhere inside of competitive, nowhere inside of Power League in terms of the higher ranks. Just not that good at all. She just, basically her main attack mechanics just suck. Like, there's just so many different brawlers that have better mechanics, and you think of the buffs that Jessie got. Her counterpart got a lot more damage. I think the turret, I forgot what other buffs that Jessie actually got, but mainly it was the damage that Jessie got, and it just made Jessie so good. Why can't this happen to Penny? I feel like the turret for Penny is really good. So just like RC said it on Twitter, if you guys know him, he's also a pro player from NA. He recommended that probably a nerf to the Penny turret would be really good, and then give a Penny some additional damage or actual attack speed or something like that. Something needs to change to Penny because right now she just sucks in competitive. As I said in yesterday's video as well, I would never ever consider bringing out a Penny to counter any type of composition. She just doesn't serve too much in the meta right now, so something does need to change in her mechanics for sure. But in terms of like low ladder gameplay, she's going to be really easy to use because for the most part people don't really dodge her turret too much. Turret will be the MVP in most cases. If you just cycle your turret pretty well, you're going to be having a decent game with Penny in the lower stages. But as I said, it's kind of just ranking this mainly off competitive, and at the higher end of Power League, she just isn't usable right now. There's no map, there's no mode where I would even say Penny is viable. So it's quite sad to me because I really do love playing Penny in ladder. One of my favorite brawlers to actually use, like no joke. It's really satisfying to use Penny, especially when you get some good splash damage. And just for zoning of a turret, it's just a nice mechanic for me. But it's for sure very undervalued. And NX is going to be carrying me inside of this one. So luckily I've got my turret again. As I said, it's just always down to what your turret can do. It's not going to be down to what damage you do. It's 100% on what your turret actually carries you to victory and whatever else. So should be able to get this Colt down here. He's going to laser me. I haven't got any gadgets left to get this BB if she decides to walk it in. But yeah, that is the power of Penny right there. But that's going to be the 5th worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars. Let's hop into number 4. Alright guys, jumping into the 4th worst brawler currently inside of Brawl Stars. Again, no real shock here is Bull. So another brawler which I really do enjoy playing. But unfortunately, he just has no place in the meta. I know we used him in the monthly qualifiers like the other, well, no monthly qualifiers, monthly finals about a month ago now. We actually used him on Canal Grande, but that was literally to counter Mortis and was okay against throwers on that map specifically. But other than that, I don't see a place for Bull in the meta. You rarely, I don't think I ever see him in scrims nowadays, especially with the meta changing. There's just a lot better options. It just isn't the meta for Bull. So again, as I always say, he needs Pit Stop back. That's the main map for me, which gives him, what makes him back into the meta. Pit Stop is an amazing map and his best map by far. So give him his best map back and he's going to be pretty much meta again in Heist especially. And that's his little niche. His little niche is Heist. But it's definitely fun inside of Brawl. But again, if you're talking competitive, he's not going to win a single lane, unfortunately, which just isn't that good for a brawler like Bull. And to be honest, he's just basically going to charge people's supers, which you don't want on your team. You don't want a brawler which just basically feeds the enemy team. So we should be able to score this in, hopefully. Let's see if Morris actually bases out. Okay, we can just pass the ball up. We're going to die because we've got our targeting on us. But unless you're Pika, I don't see Bull being used in competitive at all. Like, he's probably the only player that can pull off some amazing Bull clips to actually make him seem somewhat viable. So yeah, let's just try and end off this game here because it's kind of painful playing this brawler. Let's see, maybe I can score a goal here. Let's see if we're able to get the charge off. Okay, no, we're not. We're just looking at like a clown at the moment. I still got a stomper left. I didn't even realize that's how bad, well, how I'm not really used to playing Bull with this build as well. And it's really fun with the other build as well. I like Bull's a fun brawler, especially on Heist. Like, I normally enjoy it. Everyone is bot walking, and here you love to see it. I get my super pretty soon. We should be able to get a cool trick shot off. Okay, this bell is toxic. This bell is toxic. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. That's me dead. Yep. Oh no. Imagine if we concede now. It's gonna be pretty bad for us. And even when, like, especially when you go like, oh, nice clips from NX. But even when you go like poker double tank, there's just every single tank is better off than Bull. So it's a big rip right there. But that's gonna be the 4th worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars right now. Let's hop into number 3. Alright guys, jumping into the 3rd worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars. And it might become a little bit surprise to some people because, well, I just see Edgar everywhere at lower trophies. I have no idea why, because Edgar right now, honestly, is in a terrible spot in the meta. So bad. Basically, Edgar is unusable in free modes. So horribly bad. And the only good thing about Edgar is, well, probably like killing like the throwers. I think throwers are the only counter that Edgar's good enough on like competitive especially, which is sad to see. But we can actually score that. And the other good thing, like I said, is just literally that. And even then, there's just way better counters like Mortis, like other brawlers like that. Well, Edgar's just really in a bad spot. Just, I would never ever pick Edgar inside of Brawl Stars. Maybe like a few weeks ago, Edgar was pretty okay. Not a few weeks ago. What was I talking about? Like a few months ago, people were still using Edgar in like maps like Split and whatever else. And a big counter to Edgar as well is the likes of Surge. Surge is so prominent in this meta and just completely wrecks Edgar. Like, there's no chance for Edgar stands. Edgar's just too squishy, doesn't get the super quick enough, and the cycling of his supers is just not a good experience at all. Maybe in Showdown, I don't know really the Showdown meta right now. I think it's just El Primo basically. Like, Edgar might be a bit too broken in Showdown if buffed, which I don't really mind. So I don't know what we're going to do with Edgar because I just feel like the mechanics overall are just not made for free. As I say that, I completely reckon everyone. When it's noobs, it's different. Like, Edgar can just completely melt. But when I'm talking about 3v3, when I'm talking about competitive, Edgar is nowhere to be seen and always on the losing side. And especially with the statistics that Frank put out on Twitter was like some of the worst actual win percentages with Edgar on the team. So it's kind of obvious to me that Edgar is a really bad brawler in this meta. But that's going to be the 3rd worst currently in Brawl Stars. Let's hop into number 2. Alright guys, jumping into the 2nd worst brawler currently inside of Brawl Stars, it's going to have to be Shelly. Not PSG Shelly. PSG Shelly's OP. And I'm not using the correct build for the PSG Shelly. So that's why, yeah, you know already. This is the worst build for her. But anyways, yeah, Shelly I think is a bit better than before because of the buffs. Like the Shell Shock has got a buff from, I think it's like 4 seconds to like 4.5 seconds. So it might not seem like a lot, but the slow is really, really good. You can see the slow effects with like brawlers with Crow and his gadget, and you can see how easy it is to confirm kills. So just for that, I think Shelly isn't the worst brawler in the game anymore. That small buff, and also a buff to the fast forward gadget, making it the same dash length as Max, which is pretty OP as well. So then again, I can just use Shelly supers at a long distance because I know it's gonna stun them for so long. I'm probably gonna be able to suck my supers fairly decently, but yeah, Shelly just gonna be nowhere near the meta still. These are tiny buffs in relative to how bad her actual core mechanics are and what she serves in the meta. It's just different brawlers that are going to be much better, but it's a step in the right direction. It's really nice. I do like these type of buffs because they're for the max players. It's not going to really ruin the experience of people that are just starting off the game, so it's a nice change. As I said, the only way that Shelly really is going to be meta in the future is if they buff the band-aid a lot. Like the band-aid got slightly buffed, but if they buff that band-aid a lot, it's going to be really OP. So I'm looking forward to that because I feel like they're going to actually do that again in the future with Shelly, because that's the only way that she's going to be even somewhat meta. I don't know, maybe they just don't want her to be meta at all, but we'll have to wait and see. This Mortis is, I don't even know what he's doing. He's trying to do some trick shot montage or something. Yeah, it's literally an open goal and he's missing that, so I hate to see it. So I'm going to try and cover Daryl there. I'm literally at one shot, and same again, like you're not going to see Shelly at all inside of competitive. If you do, it's 1,000,000% a troll pick. It's just never going to be that great. I think the only combinations you can really use Shelly with are Gene and Max, because you can use the max speed and the Gene pulls to constantly cycle over and over again. And yeah, that's probably the only composition you're going to be seeing Shelly in. So that's going to be the second worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars. It's kind of sad to see because even with the buffs, some people were hoping that Shelly could somewhat be viable, but yeah, just it's going to be the same old. It's just not going to be viable at all. So yeah, that's going to be the second worst brawler inside of Brawl Stars. Let's hop into the very worst. Alright guys, jumping into the very worst brawler inside of the game right now, it's going to have to be my boy El Primo. This is really sad. I love El Primo, and unfortunately, he's just not meta whatsoever. So you've probably seen us use Primo on that Siege map the other week. If you're not, well, you should search it up because it was in the finals of a tournament. We actually pulled out Primo, and it's pretty okay because you can use the Asteroid Belt gadget and just let brawlers like B and Colt just dominate. But that's the only purpose for it. That gadget just to break open the walls. Yeah, Primo is just not in a good space right now. Shelly has overtaken him because of the buffs. Other than that, he's just not going to be usable at all. He's usable inside of Showdown. The only reason for this, like I'm going to see comments about this 100%, but the reason why he's actually usable in Showdown is because his supers are really good, especially if you're teaming and you can farm supers off each other. He's got one of the most deadly supers in the game in 1v1 interactions, but inside of Brawl Stars, it's just not that great. So if people are going to write in the comment sections about not giving him a buff, how it's going to be broken in Showdown, it's just the aspects of teaming, unfortunately. I don't think you can take that into consideration because every brawler is good when you're teaming. Just think of it like that, guys. Every single brawler. If every brawler was teaming and all of them are the same, that would be OP, and that's the same with El Primo. So I don't know how they're going to change it. They need to change something about Showdown in its core mechanics because it shouldn't be affecting any balance changes, especially with a brawler like El Primo, because he's hot trash. He's so bad, so he needs some love relative to the amount of times he's played in a Showdown. You can see I jumped that pet just for the memes as well. You'd love to see it, but yeah, enough about ranting about Showdown because I don't really play it. It's really ruined for me, especially when you see in duo Showdowns as well. You see people teaming with like Max and Tix. It's just so boring to me. I just don't understand it at all. That's why I probably never really touched that game mode too often. And I know I threw there. I'm basically throwing at this point because you guys got me heated about Showdown. All right, I used to love that game mode, but now it's definitely been ruined. It's Tix probably going to score here. Okay, I need to heal up, else these guys are probably going to score. Let's see. Got a Tara. I'm just going to chuck the Tara in the goal. Got to jump on the Sandy as well because why not? And we're able to cycle our supers pretty well. This should be a free goal right here. We can just get on the tick and that. Oh, okay, that is not a free goal. NX is BMN as well. We don't like to see that at all, NX. But let me know what you actually think of Primo in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Because I feel like you guys should be agreeing with what I've said in this. It makes complete sense. Every single brawler is going to be OP if you're farming supers off each other for free. Like, you'd think of that in the 3v3 mode. Imagine everyone just farming supers off each other and then playing. Primo would be like unstoppable in 3v3 mode, but that's not how it works. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of the worst 6 brawlers in the comment section below. Let me know your ranking. It'll be interesting to see because this might vary in different trophy ranges, and obviously if it's going to be at the higher end of competitive. So yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you think of it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
So free.